Buongiorno. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Just a couple of seconds so that everything sets up correctly. I see there are many questions already. Okay. Again, good afternoon. I hope you can see me and hear me correctly. If you wouldn't mind, give me a sign in the chat whether you hear me and see me so that we can start. Great. Okay, so it seems that the streaming is working. Excellent. Very good. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time. And obviously, I wanted to start with a thought to everybody who is involved in this disease and who everybody is in distress in Italy and in their countries. Obviously, myself and Naba are close to you, and we hope everything will get better very soon. As of today, I would like to propose the following. I would go through the email you should have received by now about next week so that I can explain in more details some of the points we have written. And then I will open to questions. If you don't mind, because I'm just back from the same streaming to Italian students, because there were so many questions at the same time. At the moment, it's 234 people watching. Please just don't ask questions altogether right now while I'm explaining things, because I will miss them. That's the only reason. I'm not able to follow that quickly and talk at the same time. So I will explain something first as a sort of a statement, and then obviously open questions. I'll try to catch every question is made and respond. So I'll start with some information then, and then I will get to the answers. Okay, first of all, again, thank you for being here. I want to say something about how NABA deals with this health and safety emergency, we can say. So far, our policy, our philosophy, it's always been not to act as a substitute of the health authorities. We do what the authorities say. We don't do anything more, we don't do anything less. This is very important because I receive many requests from students and teachers that in a way imply to increase security or to take extra measures or to act in a way that should prevent. And I would like to say to all of you that these safety measures, it's not us, it's not on us to take them. It's the government, it's the authorities, it's experts who know what they're doing. It's not, NABA is not in the place to take any action that is concerned with health in this scenario. We cannot decide on what is best for an epidemic like this. We have to trust authorities and rely on them. This is why I will tell you once for all, I will not respond to questions that are, please, we don't feel safe, or you should do something that increases security more than what the authorities said. It is not our intention to overdo. We think that this increases panic and it increases misinformation. So reliable information is out there. It's been disclosed by authorities and experts. This is what we will abide by. We will not invent any new measures. We will not make up our own policies. We will do what the authorities say. This is very important because you will see that we have decided to act for next week in advance. As you know, we had an ordinanza in Italian, a sort of a statement, a decree from the authorities to close the university for this week. And we don't know what's going to happen next week because they haven't released any statement yet. So nobody knows what they will decide. They are likely to release a statement in the next 24, 48 hours, but we feel it's too late because last week we had to organize very quickly during the weekend at night to make sure you had information, because the information to us arrived at 8 p.m. on a Saturday night. So obviously it's difficult to organize that way. For next week, we had taken some logistic and organizational measures. So the fact that we are moving all academic activities online has nothing to do with the fact that we think or do not think that NABA is safe or unsafe. It's not for us to decide. At the moment, we do not have any knowledge of any student or teacher infected. Still, it's not for us to decide what is safe and not unsafe to do. The reason why we took on those measures and we wanted to enforce them in advance is merely organizational. We want everyone to plan with the largest advance possible, and that's why we will carry on with these solutions in any case, whether the authorities will reopen the universities or not. So in any case, next week, it's remote online academic activities. This is in any case. Another thing I would like to say in advance, everything that regards next week, we know because we have organized. Whatever is after next week, so from the 8th of March on, we are not able to respond with certainty. So do not ask us, I should graduate at the end of March. Is it going to be rescheduled? I don't know. Nobody knows. At the moment, the only changes we have made to what is scheduled already is for next week. So please refrain from asking questions about July or May or even mid-March, because for the moment, nothing has changed for those dates, but we will send updates the next week. Okay, so that was my first forward. Then let's move on to classes. What happens next week for classes? Sorry, I need to drink because I've been talking for the last 3 hours. Bear with me for one moment. If you want to know about medical information and what precautions you should take, apart from what we said already, I can only refer you to the official websites: Ministry of Health, World Health Organization, and Regione Lombardia for whatever is for Lombardy. Go there. It's already written what you should do to prevent the contamination. Then, classes. What happens? We decided to make an alternative way of teaching next week, which means we will not have to recover for the classes next week because they're not going to be lost. We simply moved the activities online on Blackboard. What does it mean? I want to clarify, because some people thought that just as we are doing, in this streaming, teachers would connect online at the time and day of the class and speak live to you, just like we're doing now. That's not always the case. This is one possibility. Some teachers will find it useful to do it, some others won't. So what you should do on Sunday you will be all uploaded into Blackboard. Blackboard is our online teaching and learning platform. You should receive very shortly instructions on how to use it. It's very easy. You are born with these kind of platforms. You will not have any problems in understanding your way around it, and there are instructions. And on Sunday, we have asked every teacher to write you through Blackboard an email stating what kind of activities they are planning to do for the week. So if you need to connect on Blackboard to see a live sort of presentation, you will know. Otherwise, you will know that you can find perhaps readings, perhaps slideshows or research or some tasks or little projects to do, and you will find all the instructions on Blackboard. The idea is that you should be more or less as busy as you would have been if you had come to class in terms of hours. That's the indication of the ministry. There won't be every kind of activity for everyone. Every teacher will speak to their course leaders. They will decide what's best for their subject, and they will let you know what you will find in Blackboard. You will have video tutorials to know how to connect, and you will see how to use the platform. Not necessarily things will be ready on Sunday, but they will be ready in time for you to perform these activities for the week. So just stick to what you find as instructions by every single teacher and ask questions directly to them if you don't understand. Presence, attendance. I saw some questions. I'm not reading questions very much now because I'm still talking to you, but obviously we have an indication from the Ministry of Education that any leave, any absence that is due to this situation should not count against your passing the year, basically, which means we will justify all the absence. At the moment, I don't know if we will take the presence or not. Most likely, we will not even take the presence because there's no point. So don't worry about not being here for as long as we do this kind of activities. Yes, Elena, you can be abroad. There's no problem. If you are an Erasmus student you are not started, still your first week will be remote. So for you, it's valid for whatever is valid for everybody else. I was saying, so don't worry for being absent. It's not a problem. And if you are subject to any sanitary restrictions, for example, you are in a country and you cannot get out of the country. You are in Italy, but you cannot move from your area because you are one of those red areas, or you can't find flights, anything that is related to not being able to be here due to the coronavirus, you will be justified. So don't worry about this and don't panic because of absence due to the contamination or due to the sanitary emergency. I am not in a position to advise whether to stay in Italy or go back. That's your decision. And if you want more information, go to the official websites of the sanitary authorities. Also, for the voluntary quarantine, you will be justified. I will talk about thesis and exams in a moment. Your schedule, you should receive it on Mainaba and via email. So, and the schedule remains the same. Again, follow Blackboard and what the teachers will tell you. I'm talking to Julie. And again, I can suggest to stay or go. So I would like to conclude with classes before going to exams. Are there any other questions regarding classes? Okay, it seems we are working also on whoever is on articulation, so programs with other partner universities, to work out this, excuse me, this credit transfer. We don't have this information at the moment. We will give you this information soon. Gabriela, no. We cannot possibly make a fully online semester unless our ministry specifically tells us to do so. And this will be also very difficult for project-based subjects. So it will be a very serious case, which we will have to deal with. At the moment, whatever we say is for next week. For whatever is after next week, please wait for more information because we are not in a position to give you any other certainty at the moment. Whoever has internet difficulties, let us know. We may be able to send you material offline. Again, that's special cases. We'll try to deal with them individually. Yes, Susan, there will be some tolerance for leave. No, the whole semester off, it's not an issue at the moment. At the moment, it's not on us, it's the Ministry of Education. So also try to understand what is in our possibility to do and what is not. We cannot go against the ministry. We cannot decide on something against the regulations. So no, a whole semester off at the moment, it's not contemplated. If, and it may be, we don't know, if the ministry says justify all students that were absent for sanitary reasons, then obviously we will do it. But we cannot take this measure independently. NABA is not closed next week. Only the academic activities are online, but some services are open. Read my email, you will find which ones. At the moment, okay, there was a further subject, but I'll touch it now. So, Bocconi is a different system. It's not academies, it's universities. So I don't know what are you referring to that they are doing that we are not. But let me tell you about labs and studios. So at the moment, before we, until we have any different instruction, the law for us is to stop activities until Sunday night. So labs, library, studios, they remain closed because that's the last instruction we received. And this is why in my email you will find that they are closed. However, the authorities are convening in these very hours. They may decide to reopen universities. In this case, if this ban is going to be taken away, then obviously we will reopen labs as usual. Again, we will send you an update on Monday morning. We try to give every notice with the maximum advance that we can, but also please understand we need to wait for messages from the authorities. So sometimes it's not easy to be, we need to balance by giving a lot of advance and giving reliable information. Because if you give you too much advance, then we may receive instructions from authorities that go against what we decided. So that's why we need to balance out everything. So we try to give the maximum advance, but sometimes it's short notice. We hope you understand it doesn't depend on us. Okay, there will not be extra courses. The online courses are a substitute to normal courses. We hope is only going to be for 1 week. It may be an extra week, but no, there won't be any extra. There won't be any extra because to do the extra after the end of the semester or to slide the semester forward of a given number of weeks, it would mean to postpone everything that happens in July to August. And that's also an issue for people who need to see their visa and their going back home arrangements also slide. So that's not an option. No, we are not having presential classes next week. Next week, it's only remote education in any case, whatever they say. If they open again, then from the following week, we can maybe decide to take normal classes. Why do I say maybe? Because people need advance. Some people still cannot move. Some people are still in areas where they are in isolation. So we don't want to disadvantage, those by reinstating presence straight away. So For next week, we are all remote. For the following week, we will see the developments. If you have questions on Blackboard, on the content, directly to the teacher. You will have his or her contacts directly in Blackboard. Not the whole semester for now. I'm going to touch exams in a moment. If you have questions on Blackboard on the specific content directly to the teacher, I can't respond what happens if by March 27. I'm sorry, Junes. We'll try to help you out. Still, for everything, the stay permit, Secretariat and our offices are open, not to the public in presence, but you can contact them. So we'll try to help everybody out. I know somebody has shootings. We'll try to schedule labs by appointment if the ordinance to stay shut remains on. If they take back the closure, then everybody can go to the labs. I'll respond to the thesis in a moment. If everything gets back to normal, we will give some allowance. Obviously, we are not going to be tight with absences. So please do not worry about being absent for now. At the moment, if the outbreak continues, we will stick to online, but there is a limit to that. We cannot run a whole semester online. So if that would happen, we will see what measure to take. We are organizing, but at the moment it's too soon to say. This live is going to be saved in YouTube. You can watch it later at the same web link. Again, advice on how to protect yourself on the official sanitary websites. It's not on me to say. For matriculation and material, please refer to Secretariat and or your agents. We'll try to make it possible to submit online. Don't ask me about summer vacation. At the moment, our time frame is next week. Guys, please try to understand. We don't know. It's not on us. The authorities can change whatever we say. So there's no point in making plans for the summer from us now. Be patient. I know you are in distress. I know you would like to know. We also would like to know. We need to deal with this situation week by week. There's no way we can know things in advance. Thank you, Eren Hakan, for giving us the website. If you need to change your course to move, these questions refer to Secretariat, to Student Services. We'll try to accommodate everybody. Then, sorry, let me talk about exams and thesis. Exams that are not thesis discussions will be still suspended. We will reschedule exams, but when things are back to normal. So for now, normal exams, if you couldn't give them, they are still suspended. We will try to reschedule everything as soon as it is possible. But we want to wait until everything is normal. And yes, thank you. Everything is in an email. So I'm happy to clarify, but because questions are a lot, let's try to be sensible about what you are asking and what you can actually find in the email. Yes, if you haven't finished your exams, you cannot do your thesis discussion. I'm sorry, this is what happened, and we try to schedule everything, but we're not sure we can do that. Okay, so exams, let's wait. For the thesis, this is what is going to happen. Many students need to graduate because they offer their visa, because of their plane tickets, because of many reasons. Some regulatory agreements with their other institution. So we had to schedule thesis. We could not postpone them. So if the ordinance against the gathering of people does not go away, we will have to have thesis discussions with no public, like Politecnico, like Bocconi. If this measure is removed and it's not on us, you need to listen to the media and to what the authorities say, then we are happy to have the audience. But we don't know at this very time, now it's 5:30 almost on Friday, we don't have this information. If during the weekend this comes out, and it's very likely that it will, then please have your people in. But for the moment, wait and see what it said about university. If they remain closed, then I'm sorry, you will not be able to have your folks in the classroom with you. Some people, we are well aware that some of you cannot move. So we are calling and emailing everybody who has a thesis discussion next week. So please, if you haven't received this call, wait for it. We'll try to accommodate everybody. Obviously, if you are in isolation, if you cannot travel, if you are from an area where you're blocked, there won't be your thesis. You're not going to be marked absent from your own thesis. We will try to reschedule. So for next week only, at the moment, we are calling you one by one, trying to accommodate every single one of you. We have more than 60 sessions. So please understand, we are trying to organize everything. We'll try to meet your needs. That's all we have in mind. Also, please understand this. We're not really trying to make our life easier. We work a lot for this, and obviously that's what we have to do. There's no particular merit, but this is all to try to accommodate everybody's needs. So who needs to graduate will be able to graduate. Who cannot graduate, we will try to find a solution. You will be contacted one by one. So last case for next week, if you need to use the labs for your thesis, again, we will be able to arrange appointment for finishing your models or whatever you're working on in the labs if you have to graduate very soon. You can contact the labs and your course leader directly for an appointment and see if we can arrange a time. Having said that, please, I cannot now respond to specific single needs for thesis next week. We have an office full of people who are trying to do this. Actually, I also want to thank you, all of them, because they're really working hard 2 weekends in a row, obviously, to compensate this emergency. So please, talk to them. We'll try to meet your needs. And no, we cannot make exams online. We can only do that for students in Erasmus who went back to their home country, for students of the semester abroad who are already back in their own country. We are not allowed to have online exam from the ministry. That's the only exception we can make. That's valid for the thesis as well. We cannot do it. I know in Colombia, didn't know it was possible in Colombia, but that's not possible in Italy. So our Erasmus office sent an email. That's good. I'm sorry, I'm not really up to speed with all the emails because obviously every office is sending emails to you as we speak. Because obviously everybody is trying to give you as much information as possible. We try to give you the most advance that we can. We know that you are organizing, people coming and going, you're traveling from other countries. So yes, we try to give you the maximum advance that we can. Well, this is our important moment. Obviously, we are aware that, everybody, we all did university. We know how much important it is for a student, their thesis. So we don't want to underestimate your feelings that you want to have your people with you. Obviously, we care about it, but there are things we can and things we cannot do. So, but we know that. Saitia, if you want to change your intake, you need to speak to Secretaria. If you cannot back to Italy, hey Joe, you cannot make a whole semester online. That's one thing. So as I said before, our ministry does not allow yet for a whole semester. So if they do, then we'll be happy to accommodate if possible, but this at the moment is not possible. Live session, there's no problem for me organizing live sessions. If it's something you find it useful, I'm very glad to respond to you in person. The thesis project session, let's say, as an academic activity of next week, yes, at the moment is online. We'll try to give as much support as we can. And again, please keep in mind that this university closure thing, it's for gathering of people. So if we need to give one-to-one tutorials, one-to-one thesis advice, that it's likely to be possible because it allows for more precaution against the contamination. So let's see what happens. Meister, I don't know what to say. If you register with NAPA, you will have the same academic experience as the other students. Semester abroad, yes, at the moment, also for you, there will be an online activity, and then hopefully things will go back to normal in not a long time. Obviously, we didn't say that, but obviously to go to the July session is always possible, regardless of this pandemic situation. So to go to the next session, that's always, to go to the July session is always possible, regardless of this pandemic situation. So to go to the next session, that's always an extra session for March and April, so that you can actually do your exams and not accumulate all the exams in July, because obviously there will be a lot of work. So we are trying to compensate for that. We hope to give at least a week notice, Iliana. No, at the moment there is no discounts because the lessons online are for 1 week only. We don't have this information at the moment, so I can't really give you this information. It's 1 week. It's obviously beyond our power and it's not our decision to stop activities. If you consider the alternative was to not have class at all. So already is something more. So at the moment, no, there is no discounts to my knowledge. Alejandra, this is a very good question. No, if any of you, for reasons attached to the sanitary things and to the epidemic, would go fuori corso, like extra time, then obviously we won't be fuori corso, so we extend the deadline, and there won't be any fuori corso fee to pay at all. So we are going to, this I can say already. Well, Cecilia, it is open. We've been talking about it the whole hour. So if you're just connected, please go back and see what we've been discussing so far. If the authorities close the school, yes, the thesis with no audience will still be held. Yes. Yasmin, good question. Enrollment fee for July session, I don't know what you're referring about, SP. I don't think, I'm not aware of any support for flight expenses, Shai, because bear in mind, this is way beyond anybody's will. So perhaps, though, there may be some funds through your embassy, through your state, that can help you out. We're not in a position at the moment to help with flight expenses that I know. Gang Yang, we continue the online course as much as it's possible if the outbreak continues. And if that goes beyond the teaching possibilities, obviously we cannot teach how to print a textile or how to work on material online, then we will see, we will plan other solutions. Gabi, online classes may be live, maybe not live. If they are live, they will be at the time that is scheduled already, and the teacher will let you know. If they are not, and in any case, they will be recorded. So even if they're live and you can't, you can watch them later. So the teachers will let you know something on Sunday. Shay, I've answered your question already. And Young, I've answered that too. Yaqui, submitting online for matriculation, ask the matriculation service. I guess it's possible, but ask them. It should be okay. I don't know anything about vending machine, honestly. Orientation, at the moment it's online, and whatever is, everything we do next week is online. There will be an extra session, if possible, Carla. If things go back to normal, we will plan an extra session. Yes, giving priority to those who need to graduate. The result of international exchange for next year. I don't know what you mean exactly. I mean, not from a absence point of view. From a logistic point of view, the situation has affected a lot of things. So, Susan, if you can ask your questions more precisely, I'll try to respond. Ali, depend on what studio. So the labs, they have their email. You should know them. They're on Mainaba. You can contact them. We are open. The offices, you cannot go in person, but the emails, we respond. We are open remotely. Yes, you can download, Bhavana, the necessary academic materials from Blackboard. No full semester online. That's valid for everybody. At the moment, it's not possible. Yes, Yasmin, thank you for reminding this. Abhishek, I urge you to look at official information. This is public information. I expect you should know that already. So go and watch the websites for the spread. There were cases in Milan and in Lombardy. Go and check yourself. WHO website. That's a by the minute updated information. And I responded to your questions already. Okay, report cards, again, we'll try to contact your universities directly. Obviously, all institutions are aware of these difficulties, so international students who have another university that they need to deal with, obviously this complicates even more, but we will speak to them directly and we will let you know. Kenan, will there any material prepared online for oral exam session? Exams will not be done online except for Erasmus students who went back to their countries and sub-students who semester abroad who are finished and went back to their countries. The rest will be presence exams. For your visa, Katie, refer to our authorities, refer to our Secretariat. If we can extend your study period, we'll try to help you out. Thank you, NA, for this supplement of information. You can check equipment from labs one by one, write individually, and let's make appointments. They are available via email. We will let you know when exams will be held in extra sessions, Carla. Obviously, we need to reschedule them. We will. You will receive information. Melmeister, I can't answer that. Your university asks you something. I'm not in a position to respond to you. I'm sorry, that's your decision. Obviously, we'll try to help you out in any case. Well, Peter, people coming from China, we're not going to take any particular measurement for people coming from China. That's exactly the kind of attitude I would like you not to have. The measurements, it's not us, it's the governments. So China and other countries, they have a level of risk that it's not for us to decide if it's higher or lower than other countries. Please stop thinking that Chinese commuters or Chinese people are more dangerous than others. This is not necessarily the case. So we will take whatever measurement the authorities ask us to do from China or from any other country. Exactly. So that's the point. Sorry, I'll drink a little bit more. Okay, so while I will give you some more time for some other questions, in my email you will find all the services that will be open next week. So you will have a list of them. SP, if you want to withdraw your graduation, we will see. I think you have to speak with Secretaria. It could be. Because we're in the week after next, we'll deal with that next week, but we will try to make it happen. I just want to conclude while I give some couple of minutes for any more questions, just for finishing this live stream, which again, if you would like to have again next week, I'll try to make it happen. Yes, we try to help if you have any problem with when you would permesso di soggiorno. Graduating process will be launched. I don't understand. Alba Neo, I don't understand your question. Internships, some of them can continue. It depends on the companies you are in. If your visas will expire, we'll try to see what we can do. Again, contact our international office for that. Ali, I'm sorry if you miss your exams because of this spread. There's nothing we can do. But we'll try to obviously give priority for exams to whoever needs to graduate. If you need to return equipment, you can return it, of course. Make contact with the labs and you can return the equipment. In general, because I made a reference to an attitude earlier, the only thing I wanted to say to conclude is that we will see a lot of different behavior this time. And in times of crisis, two things can happen: that people bring out their best or their worst behavior. We have seen a lot of the worst so far by fake news, discrimination, racism, and episodes of hatred, which I would like to distance myself from, and obviously that we condemn as a cultural institution. However, many people think that those are due to social media and the way people interact these days. They're not. This kind of behavior, the worst, has been described in history in case of pestilences and epidemics thousands of years ago. Just to remain with Italian literature, Boccaccio, Manzoni, Camus, who's French, and Saramago, not Italian as well, they already described how a pestilence can affect the spirit more than the body. So we've seen the worst of humanity yet. We've seen it 1,000 years ago. We are seeing it these days. But we do have a choice. We have a choice to make the best come up. So whenever we can choose between hate and love, we can choose to love. We can choose to trust instead of being suspicious. We can choose to be welcoming instead of being rejecting. So do take this occasion to show the best of you. I know in NABA and as people of culture who embrace diversity and acceptance, we can do that. So I hope you won't be subject to any of those discriminating behaviors anymore, and that yourself can take this as an occasion for growing and being strong in this time, because it's easy to be strong when things are easy. It's harder to be strong in times like this. So some other questions. I've responded to exams questions already. Okay, so exactly, I agree. Second, the message about the Chinese, because it's not only the Chinese people who are suffering. Everybody's suffering. The whole world is suffering. So again, thank you for listening. I hope I clarified some of your points. I realize I could not clarify some others, but that's really not on us. We really try to give you as much information as we can. We'll try to organize more occasions like this. We will give you more information next week again. Discuss with your advisor, but honestly, I hope you realize we are not in a position now to discuss that you don't like to have classes on Fridays. See that with Secretaria, I'm sorry, but adapted that we can do it. So again, please take care. Let's try to remain calm and don't panic. Wait for the messages from the authorities, because these situations can change, hopefully for the best, very soon. On Monday, we will see what the authorities have decided, and if that's the case, to change some of the information we've given, we will send you another update. Okay. Thank you again. Take care, and I will see you next week.